I can't tell you how grateful I am for your help. And even though they may not show their gratitude, I know Administrator Ludovico and Mr. Kincannon appreciate your involvement. Mr. Kincannon could lose his spaceport if board authorities took over the investigation, and if Rizzo's is forced to cancel its unveiling, we might never recover. Helen was more than popular. She gave something to this colony that no product line could ever provide. Real happiness. No one has ever been as well known or as well loved. Outside of our courageous business leaders. I represent the law, Captain, but what's happening between Mr. Kincannon and the Administrator is politics. Politics are not my area of expertise. Me, worn out? Perish the notion. My days are filled with catering to the oh-so-reasonable requests of Mr. Ludovico and Mr. Kincannon. What's not to like? Your words, not mine. Please don't take my lack of disagreement as anything other than fatigue. I am a content, productive, and happy member of our society. Captain, I'm Constable Maria Keene. Hiring a third-party investigator was my idea. I've been studying your dossier. I hate to admit it, but I'm a little out of my depth here. I'm used to dealing with rowdy VIPs from Byzantium, not murder. You must excuse us. The situation on Eridanos is tense. If we don't bring Helen's killer to justice, this scandal could scupper our entire operation. Just the three of us. You're reliable and competent. You've been taking care of yourself ever since you arrived on Halcyon. And you're entirely independent. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Honest to law, how hard is it to hire a freelancer? Apologies, Mr. Ludovico. That was inappropriate of me. First sensible thing I've heard all day. My apologies, Mr. Ludovico. That was unprofessional of me. Could we please stop this nonsense? Please, Captain. I'm asking you to help us. While you're pursuing your investigation, we'll make you a guest of honor at the Grand Colonial. The Administrator oversees Rizzo's operations. Cedric runs the hotel and the spaceport. They're always at each other's throats. Merciful law, I think he's serious. Merciful law, I think she's serious. Not even a little. But we are out of options. The law is simple. Politics are complicated. I'm pleased to hear that. From everything I've heard, you're a competent freelancer. And at the risk of sounding impertinent, we desperately need the help of someone competent. Thank you for your time, Captain. Whenever you're ready, I've authorized the Unreliable to land at the Grand Colonial. My life would be so much easier if they'd simply learned to work together. I know you specialize in discretion. You have a talent for subterfuge, and most of your work is covert. You're a specialist. I understand you have a talent for misappropriation and bypassing security. I may not approve of these talents, but I appreciate your skill. You're the Vice President of Sublight. You earned that promotion with your own two hands. I can't help but respect that quality. You are Adjutant Akonde's most reliable freelancer. If the second most powerful person in Halcyon can depend on you, then I'd like to think we can depend on you. As far as I'm concerned, you're the ideal inspector for this case. You are an extraordinary scientist. If your talents extend to forensics, then you may be exactly what we need. You are a gifted leader. Your presence alone inspires excellence. That kind of leadership may be exactly what we need. You're a talented diplomat. You know how to ask questions, and you have a gift for getting answers without resorting to violence. Something I should know? Anything to report? What's on your mind? There's no sign of the murder weapon. Whatever it was that killed Helen, the killer took it with them. Ask away. Woolrich thinks of himself as a serious and distinguished actor. He was frequently cast in demeaning roles, while Helen played the charismatic heroine. He has reason to be envious. Mr. Holcomb was in a romantic relationship with Helen. This alone is not enough to make him a lead suspect, but he does play tossball. Good work, Inspector. I had a feeling we'd make some progress once we brought you onto the case. Oh, thank the law. Please, ask your questions. I'm afraid I must decline. Spencer Woolrich and Bertie Holcomb are officially persons of interest in this investigation. I've mostly ruled out Mr. Woolrich, leaving Bertie Holcomb as my lead suspect. I'm contractually prohibited from endorsing off-brand technology, but I'll bend that rule just this once. Hotel security corroborates his whereabouts during the murder. I haven't included him in my list of suspects, but neither am I convinced of his innocence. If there were any witnesses, none came forward. Ballroom cameras were also offline at the time of the murder. Inspector, you don't know how relieved I am to see you. Constable Maria Keene. It's good to meet you in person, Inspector. Our dossier mentioned you had problems committing to a job. In accordance with Rizzo's company policy, I am required to give you this motivational message. I'm pleased to hear that. Our coroner has developed a device which may prove useful in your investigation. Our office has instructed her to hand it over to you. I believe you will find that assisting your local Rizzo's security department is even more thrilling than the sweet, smooth flavor of Rizzo's Spectrum vodka. You'll want to peer into the amplifier and examine the crime scene. Are you asking me these questions in an official capacity? I appreciate the gesture, Inspector, but I'm on duty. If you'd like to speak informally, you may visit my office during my scheduled socializing hours. I'm encouraged to know you're taking this job seriously. I understand you're being metaphorical, but I'm contractually obligated to remind you that Rizzo's cannot provide you with any official brand-associated headgear. You've got my cooperation. Anything else? Norval, head bellhop. He was understandably distraught. I believe his feelings were genuine. He's a remarkably poor actor. I'm a little suspicious of anyone who enjoys his job as much as Norval. He's also obsessive in his appreciation of Helen's work. Obsessive passion can lead to irrational behavior. It's a fact of modern science. Helen was very particular about having cameras on her. Security footage would have constituted documentary filmmaking. Can't afford that. Frankly, I'm having trouble imagining exactly what it was that killed her. That sounds about right. You can understand why I'm having trouble picturing a murder weapon. Helen was known to carry her signature weapon, a bespoke handgun known as the Needler. There was no sign of any such weapon on her body. Law have mercy. I can confidently rule out a Raptidon as the murder weapon, Inspector. Let me rephrase that. He's your lead suspect. I've been instructed to turn this case over to your capable hands, while I continue to serve as a consultant. Mr. Woolrich was Halcyon Helen's professional rival. It's possible jealousy drove him to take Helen out of the picture. I apologize for the wordplay. Conversely, Mr. Bertie Holcomb was Helen's paramour. The relationship was reportedly dissolved. I can't rule out her murder as a crime of passion. Work is simple. People are complicated. The people involved in this murder are especially complicated. I know. This entire affair is beginning to sound suspiciously like a two-bit serial. I considered the possibility that Woolrich killed Helen in order to eliminate a rival and advance his own career. But my reasoning collapsed under closer scrutiny. Black Hole Birdie currently holds the record for most non-consecutive blows to the head. His tendency toward irrational and violent behavior is well documented. It isn't personal, Inspector. I'm just on duty right now. Talk to me later, after you've met with Administrator Ludovico. I'll make time to chat. You'll need Administrator Ludovico to grant you access to the orchards. Contact him through the secure access terminal in your penthouse suite. Check in with the concierge. Your room should be ready by now. If it isn't, I may have to go shake someone by the collar. Take a look at the crime scene. I'll stay out of your way until you're done. Seems you found something. Residue from a spill. The amplifier said something about, B. Bertie Holcomb. I hadn't considered that. The two of them were in a relationship prior to Helen's death. I try not to resort to conjecture. Speculation is a shocking habit. Destructive to the logical faculties. That's prudent of you. I'll make a note of your discovery. Thank you, Inspector. You keep excitable company. I hope they won't complicate your investigation by touching things. Woolrich owes his career to Helen's dramas. Her death likely harms his long-term prospects. I'm struggling to determine a motivation for him, so I've largely ruled him out. Oh, Inspector, I was hoping I could have a word with you. I wanted to thank you for cooperating with us. Helen's death was never your concern, but you agreed to help us all the same. It is appreciated. I will be plain with you, this case is outside my purview. Everyone's hoping you'll bring Helen's killer to justice. Maybe they think life can go back to the way it was. I can't speak for the rest of Eridanos, Inspector. I can only assure you that I appreciate your help. I'm accustomed to dragging rowdy guests into my office for paperwork and processing. I am not prepared to investigate the murder of a beloved actress. Before you arrived on this case, I had identified two key suspects, Black Hole Bertie Holcomb and Spencer Woolrich. I've since eliminated Woolrich. This is a problem of jurisdiction, not competence. Helen was murdered in a hotel owned by Slug, whereas I represent Rizzo's. I couldn't investigate Helen's death even if I wanted to. My office is occupied with matters concerning Spectrum Brown. This directive is mandated and takes priority over Helen's death. Most people don't know that about me. But yes, Helen's roles have always embodied values that I respect. Courage, curiosity, strength, a sense of style. I'm not so sure. Helen was a beloved icon. Even if I could investigate her murder, I can't possibly bring her back to life. I'm also concerned I'd allow my personal feelings to cloud my judgment. I was a great admirer of Helen. I can appreciate the sentiment, Inspector, but let me assure you, lounging by the poolside with a cold glass of Rizzo's Spectrum vodka in your hand won't help you solve this case. I'm not at liberty to discuss the details, Inspector. Rizzo's prides itself on ironclad confidentiality agreements. None of us get to choose the way in which we serve our colony, but Helen? She showed me how to find meaning in my occupation. You're a persuasive person, Inspector. Addressing me by my first name is an effective way to establish rapport. I'll tell you this much. This directive is part of my indenturement contract. I've been hired to oversee the safe launch of Spectrum Brown. That duty is my highest priority. From my list of suspects, Inspector, I eliminated Spencer Woolrich from my list of suspects. Best of luck, Inspector. Let's just pretend this conversation is going smoothly. Do you mind if we start over? Let's start over. Black Hole Birdie is my primary suspect. I've rebranded Spencer Woolrich from suspect to person of interest. Not a problem at all. Is there anything else I can do for you? Good to see you, Inspector. That's a fair point. Why didn't you hand it over when I asked?